So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at how to simplify fractions to their lowest terms. So I've got a couple easy problems here set up, and I want you to think about what number do you think would go into both 6 and 8. Now I do notice that both numbers are even, so whenever you have numbers that are even, we know they're divisible by 2. So I know 2 is going to work, okay? And then the next number would be 3, and 3 works for 6, but it doesn't work for 8. And then we could go up to 4, and I know that 4 does not work for 6, but it does work for 8. And then we go higher, and there really aren't any numbers that would work. So we're going to go ahead and use the number 2. So let's go ahead and use the number 2. And we would say 6 divided by 2 equals 3. Now, we want to use the same fraction, and this essentially equals the same as 1. So it's like we're dividing by 1. All we're doing is changing the numbers to simpler numbers. We're not changing the value at all. So then we say 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now we know that 3 is a prime number, so nothing can go into 3 but itself. 3 cannot go into 4, so this is our lowest term. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. So again, we could look up here and we know 2 does not go into 5 or 25. 3 does not work. 4 does not work. But I do know that 5 works. So we're going to go ahead and divide this set of fractions, or this fraction, both the numerator and the denominator, by 5/5. So 5 divided by 5 is going to be 1. And 25 divided by 5 is going to be 5. So this is something you're going to see quite a bit. You'll have a lot of fractions that are pretty simple already, but they just need to be taken to the lowest possible term. Now another thing to note is anytime you have 1 as your numerator, you can't go any lower. That is as far as that fraction could possibly go. Okay, so for this last problem, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple different options you have. Now you'll notice the numerator is quite a bit larger. When that happens, you usually will have several options for dividing this problem out. So maybe one of the first things you notice is that the number 6 goes into both 18 and 36. So you can immediately start with dividing both the numerator and the denominator by 6/6. So we're going to divide by this number right here. So we take 18 divided by 6, and that is going to equal 3. Then we have 36 divided by 6, and that is going to equal 6. Now you may notice that this is not simplified to the lowest term. We want to go all the way to the very end. So if we look at those two numbers, we realize that, okay, 3 goes into both of those numbers. So we really need to simplify it one more time. So 3 divided by 3 and 6 divided by 3. So we would say 3 divided by 3 equals 1, and 6 divided by 3 equals 2. So our final answer would be 1/2. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at another way you can find what we call the greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor will allow you to reduce this fraction in one step, but you have to find that number. So one way to find that number is to make a list of factor pairs. So we'll start with 18. Now the first factor pair you will always have is 1 and the number itself. All right, then I'd simply go straight to the number 2, and 2 times 9 is 18. 3 times 6 is 18. And 4 times nothing equals 18. 5 times nothing is 18. Then I go to the number 6, and I already have 6. So we don't really need these additional factors because we already have all of the factor pairs for 18. So then let's go to 36. So when it comes to the factor pairs of 36, again, we're going to start with 1 times 36. And then 2. 2 goes into 36, but I may not know what that is. So I may need to come over here and do a division problem to find out how many times 2 will go into 36. So when I do that division problem, eventually I'll get the answer of 18. So we would say 2 times 18 is 36. 3 times 12 is 36. 4 times 9 is 36. 5 does not go into 36. And then we have 6 times 6. And then we've got 7. 7 doesn't go, and neither does 8. So we wouldn't need any of those. So here are the factor pairs for 36. So then I'm looking for the number that is common in both, the greatest number, the largest number that's common in both. So that number would be 18. I can see that 18 goes into itself once, and 18 goes into 36 twice. So I could come over here and divide by 18. Now, mind you, this was a lot of work to take what seems like a shortcut, right? Where we were easily able to distinguish the 6 and the 3. So sometimes it's not necessarily faster to go this route, but this is still a great method, especially if you can't find a number. So we'd say 18 divided by 18 equals 1, and 36 divided by 18 equals 2. So our 18 out of 36 reduced to the lowest term is 1/2.